Joining us tonight will be Pyschic Angela Thomas. So before we get started, we're going to watch a little bit of a clip from Paranormalzone TV that she was on with Noreen.
I'm going to start with Angela Thomas, and I have a lot of questions for her. So I want to start with Angela.
Yes.
I want to know, was this a coincidence that he was on the bridge at the same time the girls were?
No, that was not a coincidence. This is something that was planned on this individual's part. And so it wasn't an opportunity that just, the girls happened to be there and he decided they were going to become victims. This was very methodical and planned out.
Oh, it was?
Mm-hmm.
So was he alerted about the girls being on the bridge?
Yes, the thing is that, let me just be clear right now, and you may call me crazy, but I do not feel that the man on the bridge is the sole killer or the sole kidnapper killer. I feel like not only an additional one, but additional two. So 3 people involved in the kidnapping and murders of Abby and Libby. And we typically don't hear about 3 people, getting together to commit murder unless, of course, they're breaking in someone's house and they killed the family and things of this nature. So I feel like there was a coordinated effort that the primary suspect, which I'm going to call the guy on the bridge, was already looking at Libby's house, not to stalk Libby, but to, there's either the family, all of the family, or a member of the family was actually the target. But I feel like there was a secondary motivation, and that was to say, look, you've done this to me. I feel like the primary suspect, that at least one member of that family either got that person in trouble with the law or interrupted a drug sale or caused, this primary suspect has been involved in human trafficking, which we can get into that in just a moment. But I feel like either a loss of money or a, trouble with the law or something of this nature, and they were really going to target that, particular member of the family, but decided to go ahead and take, when you take a child, right, you really crush the entire family. So decided to, get revenge and kill Libby. So on the day of February the 13th, I feel like that primary suspect was watching the house. Oh. I feel like there's a third person, one of the 3 people involved with the younger one, which is that secondary picture that you all saw. I feel like he was already privy and within the social circle of Abby and Libby. And so knew that they were going to go either through text or through Snapchat or TikTok or, some sort of social media platform. And so just confirmed that. And so they, of course, conspired to kidnap the girls and, of course, kill the girls. So I don't feel like it was accidental that, hey, they kidnapped the girls and something happened to them and then, let's go ahead and kill them now because, they're injured or something of this nature. It was very much a angry revenge thing to do.
Okay, it's longer than I thought. What the heck? I think you should stop. It's supposed to stop. Let's hide it now. There we go. Okay. Welcome, 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 Angela Thomas. Thank you for
Thank
being
you
here
very
tonight.
much. Nice to be here.
Thank you, thank you. And of course, oh, there's 69 people watching at the moment. If anybody knows me, they know it's my favorite number. It was the year I was born as well.
Nice.
But yes, and thank you to everyone that's coming in. They're used to the 2 minute and 40-minute intro, or 2 minute, 40-second intro on there. So thanks everyone for coming tonight. Again, we have psychic Angela Thomas, and of course Adam. Deb's not here tonight to join us, but yes. So let's start off, I guess, Angela. Just tell everybody about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Well, I'm a professional psychic, clairvoyant, and I've been doing this for many, many years. I teach psychic development. I teach psychic forensics. So, for example, remote viewing and criminal casework, tracking missing persons. I teach a workshop on that, or the other psychic forensics would be photo psychometry, where one holds or touches an item or can view it. And so I teach a number of people different modalities of psychic and clairvoyancy. So I do mentoring, I'm always busy. So, I'm a writer, I'm a published writer. So I'm well rounded and I do wear a lot of different hats. So if you ever want to visit, just go to psychicangelathomas.com.
Yeah. And in front of you is Angela Thomas's Facebook as well. Okay, so that was psychicangelathomas.com for her website, and this is Angela Thomas's Facebook right there. So let's see here. Let's get us back. All right, guys. Okay, so as you know, I have told you this, that I've watched the Paranormal Zone TV with Noreen on when you were on it, because somebody had sent me an email and said to watch this.
Sure.
And I was very jaw dropped as I kept listening to the whole video, because again, I knew nothing about you or that you had done this on Paranormal TV back in 2021. And through all the digging and research and everything I've done, it was such, like I said, it was such a parallel way of thinking. But what I had found, it's like, was the words were pretty much coming out of your mouth. Even if things are just a little bit different, the whole gist of it was just jaw dropping to me. It's like someone took all my notes and my thoughts
Right.
and they were coming out of your mouth. So that's why I was just like, I just knew, like, I'd watched different ones. In a sense, when I'm bored sometimes, I'll just start searching what other people might have, tried to do for readings and stuff like that. And I really never felt like anyone was on the mark, for me anyway, until I listened to you. And then I was just like, wow, she's just literally saying everything that I've been finding and thinking, again, all of this, theorizing for the most part on what happened to the girls. And and so it's one of those things that it's like, I don't know. Adam, did you ever watch that one? Did you ever watch the episode?
I did. It's been a long time, but I found it really interesting.
Yeah. So let's start off with the fact of, let's see, Libby and Abby obviously were murdered or went missing in a sense on the 13th, and their bodies were found on February 14th on Ron Logan's land.
Yeah.
And I know that when the Ron Logan search warrant came out, even though another medium actually had sent me some information. Well, she had said that basically she had worked on the case in 2019. Um, and it was one of those, again, circumstances that just, whether you want to call it in the stars, alignment, whatever. She went and had dinner with someone that was in the force, knew the head investigator or whatever, and then she asked her if if she wouldn't mind speaking to him because of how accurate she seemed to be to this friend that she hadn't heard from in about 15 years that asked her out for dinner, but she did happen to be in the alley. So she talked to him, never met him. And one of the things that I distinctly always remember was that about the bodies not being um, where they were found, like meaning they weren't killed where they were found.
Right.
And in the Ron Logan warrant, or the warrant, yes, it was the same thing, right? Like that was mentioned in there as well. So can you, Angela, go back to what you were thinking at that time, or your thoughts? Do you remember them for that particular time? So, yeah.
Well, I could go back to some of the case that I did and what I discussed on the show with Noreen.
Absolutely.
And I've got tons of notes. I mean,
you know what?
if it didn't have the names in there, I would share them with you. But
yeah, I was gonna say, whatever you want to start with, whatever popping to your mind first about the case, just whatever you remember, of course. Did you watch yourself again on that show recently at all?
I did watch it probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Could have been
Okay.
a month ago, and that's been it. So, one can only watch themselves for so long, right? So it's like, oh,
Well, I was going to say, okay, what's coming to my mind right now, and again, is the fact of, kind of go in a sense at the beginning. You said that the girls were watched, that this wasn't really a revenge post supposed to be on, say, Libby, that it was.
right. And so let me just say that uh, where it shifts. So the Libby's house that she lived in, the parents and whoever else lived there, had been watched. And the whole idea was to harm the, I'm just going to say a couple of people, fatherly figure and somebody else within the household, but especially the fatherly figure, the male, so I'm assuming that's Libby's father. And then it was decided, no, we're going to take the child. And like I said on Noreen's show, when you take a child, you crush an entire family. And so it was done out of revenge. And so I feel like it was quickly, communicated among the three men. And the youngest one, which I always call the gopher,
Yeah.
I feel like he was keeping abreast of what Libby and Abby were doing through either a cousin or a sister that would have been friends with Libby and Abby on some sort of social media platform. So it's like, okay, we know where they're going, and this is our opportunity to, victimize the girls.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Abby wasn't the target. She was wrong place, wrong time. It wasn't, let's take out two girls because we want to take out two girls. It was, let's take out Libby. So, and
Yes.
Abby just happened to be there. So, it definitely was coordinated. It definitely was intentional. Nothing was, I know some people have talked about, oh, it's some madman and he saw, two young girls and he took the opportunity. But that's not it. There were three people involved with the actual kidnapping and murder of Abby and Libby.
Hmm. Again, pretty much along the same thing that I've always thought, if not more, to be honest. Like the participation of, in a sense, yeah, you know, 3, possibly 4, other people involved. I feel like, meaning that weren't there.
Well, here's the thing. There were 3 men that were actually physically with Libby and Abby.
Mhm.
So the kidnapping and the murder of those 2 girls. I do feel that there were others. So let's maybe talk about, not peers, but, other people knew
Yeah,
something was about to happen.
right. Hmm.
I feel like they um, knew that, hey, the fatherly figure is going to be the target. They're, like he's going to pay the price. And then I feel like there was a few whispers among the group. So even though the majority, I feel, thought the father was going to be harmed or killed, I feel like the ones that were not abreast of, Libby's going to die today.
Mhm.
I feel like as soon as those people, because they're all in the same group, the social circle,
Yeah,
immediately knew, okay, Libby is found dead, Abby is found dead, and we know exactly who it was. That should have been the fatherly figure instead of the girls. So I feel like there's a lot of game playing going on. And what I mean by that is there's that social circle of these men, especially the young boy and the primary suspect, the BG, as you call him, the bridge guy.
yeah,
And I feel like, they're dropping hints and uh, speaking strangely to try, like you and I, if we had a language or we
right.
dropped hints to one another, like, it's kind of like the inside info. And I feel like they continue to talk about it. I am going to say, though, that I do feel that the young guy out of all 3 men that were responsible for the kidnappings of these girls, I feel like he's going to be in legal hot water. And I feel like he's going to start talking because I feel like they're going to kind of say, look, you're going to go to prison, or I don't know if Indiana has a death penalty or not, but you're going to pay the consequences. And so I feel this one will begin speaking to try to get a lesser sentence. So, but it's all very sick because what really angers me beyond the waste of these 2 beautiful girls is the fact that there's a lot of game playing going on. That the people within the circle, these are drug users. And I'm talking about people that manufacture drugs, people that distribute drugs, people that take drugs, uh, thieves, people that lie, So we're not talking about stand up citizens here.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so what angers me is that they know they're playing games. They're,
Well,
it's almost like, ha, 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 we know who
yes.
did
Oh,
it.
yeah. Mhm.
And it's not like, oh, isn't that a shame that those 2 girls died? It's like, yeah, ha, 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 isn't that funny? And isn't that, we know who did it, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
In fact, this is just coming to me now.
Okay.
Um, I feel like some of the people that, in that social circle, especially a particular male,
Yeah.
is good friends with um, the sisterly figure. So whether this is a biological sister or a stepsister or a half sister, of Libby's. So
Okay.
I feel like this bunch of, hoodlums or low elements group,
Yeah.
I feel like one of them particularly knows Libby's sisterly figure and helps to kind of get more information as much as they possibly can. Now, I
Mhm.
can say that the sisterly figure has not been privy to the latest part of the investigation. But I feel like that particular male that knows the sisterly figure is trying to maintain the friendship, maintain communications in case she is privy or when she becomes privy to what's really happening in the investigation.
Okay. So you think that she's friends with one of the people that was part of the murders?
No,
Or
I
that
don't feel like out of all the three
okay.
men, I don't feel like any of those men she's friends with. I'm
Okay.
talking about some of the people that know who in the world did it, right?
Okay. Oh,
Name
gotcha.
all
Yeah.
three of these guys.
Yeah.
I feel like one of that little social circle
Social. Yeah.
is maintaining a friendship with Libby's sisterly figure.
Right. Gotcha.
So,
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, well, and I just want to remind people that are watching us today. And again, thank you, Angela, for joining us. But so what Angela is mostly saying, unless she says otherwise, like she just did then about saying what's coming to her now, this was all said back in 2021. So it's not like she's read the papers recently and da 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 da. This is the information that she is saying is stuff that she said back in 2021 when she was on Paranormal Zone TV. So again, unless she otherwise state, unless she
right.
otherwise,
I don't follow the case
you know
at
what?
all. I mean, once I do the case,
Tell me,
as a psychic, once I submit that information, I'm done with it.
it,
So
yeah,
I don't try to follow criminal cases
yeah,
because, when you act as a psychic, you're an observer of
hmm
sorts.
yeah,
But if I were to go and try to investigate every case that I've ever done, I would be emotionally involved.
yes.
And I'm not going to put myself through that. I'm just not.
So
So,
what brought you into Delphi? Was it did like were you? So what actually brought you onto Noreen's show back in 2021? Is that the first time you even talked about Delphi? And basically, was it just the one time and then that was it?
right. Noreen, it must have been Noreen that had asked me about Delphi, or had I worked Delphi,
Mm,
or maybe in passing I said to Noreen, "Yes, I did the case," or whatever. I don't remember exactly how I ended up, but I'm pretty sure she probably said, "Would you like to come on the show and talk about the
yeah.
Delphi murders?"
Mm.
I have been on Noreen's show for other
Other
kind of
ones, yeah,
retrocognitive, cold case kind of work, and talked about those crimes. So Delphi was the one that just simply blew me away because you're talking about
yeah.
two young girls and
And I remember distinctly too, Angela, that and if you could repeat it to the people watching again now, I remember you saying like this is really one of the most twisted cases, basically craziest cases. Can you kind of repeat somewhat what you said back then?
well, it's highly convoluted. Number one, generally speaking, we know that three people are not going to be involved in a murder. And like I said on Noreen's show, unless of course it's a planned break-in and
Yeah,
that they're going to have to take somebody else out in the household. But to murder two girls, it's not typical to have three people involved in that whole setup. I feel I honestly feel like there's a big connection with the fatherly figure, and I know that when I was uh, speaking to Noreen, I kept on, like, are you sure? You're like the father? Is that the stepfather? And I kept on being drawn psychically while I was in the interview to that fatherly figure,
Mm-hmm.
but I couldn't stop and psychically look into it.
Right.
I do not feel that. I think everything is inside out and outside in this case. That what it looks like, like the fatherly figure, isn't, the stand up citizen. The parents of Libby do know more than what they're saying, especially the fatherly figure. I can say that there's a gentleman about somewhere between the ages of 20 to 30 years of age that goes to Libby's home regularly. So I don't know if that's a brother or a cousin or a nephew or who he is. And he may have some insights into the real thing, but no one is who they say they are. So even when we look at the killers themselves, if you were to walk down the street and see them, you would think, oh, that's such a nice guy, or you know what I'm saying? Their public persona is much different than what really is going on behind the scenes.
Right.
So everything in this case is convoluted. I know that the detectives on this case must be extraordinarily frustrated. I know that some of them probably want to, I'm not going to say, I'm not going to say 100% that they want to just find anybody, at this point. Like, okay, let's book this guy or charge this guy, this one guy on these charges. I know that they have revisited Ron Logan himself, which was not a stand-up citizen throughout his entire life, but he wasn't the killer.
Right.
Kidnap and kill those children. And I know that, they're revisiting several suspects, again and again. And I know I've heard different people, or you see online somewhere like so-and-so was arrested, or so-and-so was being held in custody in connection to the Delphi murders. And it's like, nope, that's not it. That's not the ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that there was somebody in Indiana that had kidnapped a 9-year-old girl.
Yes.
And I think he took her to the basement, or he was holding her hostage inside. And they went in, and I think they automatically thought that this guy is probably the killer of Libby and Abby. But again, he wasn't. So
no. Right. Yeah, Brian James Chadwell. That was the one. And it's really, working in true crime. It's really disgusting, to be honest. What you don't know on the surface, and then you see kind of what's there really around you and different things like that. I was going to ask you, because I've seen somebody else put it, and I know that you don't like to go too deep into this, but I remember you saying about a little bit of that you felt like an officer or a sheriff or whatever. You know what exactly what I'm going to ask you there, about, kind of like slowing things down.
Yes. And of course, I'm not going to name anybody, right?
No, I know.
Again, I don't want to be sued, or knock on Angela's doorstep or door.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like this particular officer did business with the primary suspect. So when I say business, it would be things like girls. It would be things like cars or motorcycles, but I predominantly think cars, right? And so I feel like the officer is not, again, another person that is giving a public persona. I'm a stand-up guy. I'm an officer. So whether that officer is a sheriff deputy or whether it's a police deputy, I can't tell at this point when I'm talking to you
Yeah.
because I'm going back into psychic mode.
Yeah.
But I can say that he knew the primary suspect very well. I do feel like he was slowing things down on purpose to aid the primary suspect. So the thing is that I feel like the reason that he would do that, because let's face it, these murders were disgusting. They were horrific.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that officer felt like I'm going to slow things down for the primary suspect because I don't want him bringing my name in, telling them that I was involved in some of his business doings. So we're not talking about legitimate business. We're talking
Yeah.
about illegal. So when I say girls, I'm talking about, I feel like the primary suspect was one that had a lot to do with, luring young girls or taking young girls and using them for sex or selling them for sex. And when I say selling them for sex, I'm not talking about, hey, I'm going to be your pimp. I mean, here you go. I'm done with this girl. So for a few dollars, however much they sell people for these days, here you go. And so I feel like the officer has been privy and has also dipped his toe in the girl pile. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Angela, just quickly, because I know that there's people that are thinking a couple different things here. Do you still feel like that officer that you speak of is still alive?
Do I think the officer is still alive?
Yes. The reason why is because from the Keegan Klein side of things, Tony Klein had an officer friend that passed away in 2018, but a lot of other people are thinking about the sheriff.
No, I don't get any. I don't get any information that this officer has passed on.
Yeah. Just because someone was asking it. And then another person's asking, at the bridge, it says approximately how many people do you see at the bridge at the time of the abduction? I know that you probably going to refer back to what you said, but
Okay, so repeat the question.
approximately how many people do you see at the bridge at the time of the abduction?
Okay, so you mean as okay?
Yeah.
Here's how I've seen it. I don't feel like there were a lot of people milling around and they didn't notice that the girls were being kidnapped. I feel like that no one saw the actual kidnapping of the girls occur. But where Abby and Libby were standing on the bridge, they're facing it. We see the video of
Right.
the primary suspect approaching them. Behind the girls came up the secondary suspect, and the third suspect was already down the hill between the hill and the water, standing because they already knew where they were going to take them.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer that question, now I can say I did get a little bit of insight, which I know I mentioned it on Noreen's show. Somebody had asked about, do you think anybody took pictures? Did anybody take pictures of a primary suspect? And that's possible because, if you and I were to look at a guy speaking to a girl, we probably wouldn't think anything, especially the age, like, oh, that must be the dad, right? The dad and the daughter. So is it possible that somebody saw that very quickly and didn't think anything of it? they didn't stand there and, gaze and gaze and gaze. That's possible. But I don't feel like there was a lot of people around the bridge where Abby and Libby were located.
Right.
And that's what made it so, what I'm going to call genius, right? I don't feel like there was anybody else on the bridge, like from the other side, walking and could see Abby and Libby. I don't get any thing that there was anybody on that bridge other than that guy and the girls who had walked across the bridge themselves.
I was going to say, can you lead into that, Angela, about what you were feeling? Because about the fact of that they were not killed where they were found. Can you go back into that? Because someone's actually even kind of asking that similar question: were they driven out or walked out? But can you go back to that point of time as well? And remember that we kind of touched on, you kept saying a barn to me as well. If you
Yeah, I
remember.
kept on getting like I was standing inside of a barn structure, and the barn had all kinds of angles to it, which would tell me, when you look up in the ceiling and there's angles, to me that it's angled because of snow, like there's
Yeah, to
places
keep,
where it
yeah.
snows and, you don't want your roof caving in. But I saw on the inside bales of hay and bales of hay near the main entrance of that, what I'll call a barn.
Mhm.
And it was a very old barn. And so there was not any sort of animals, how some barns may have stalls to keep horses in and
Yeah.
things like that. There was no stalls inside. So I don't know if that was just a barn to put hay in or equipment in, or if if they had sheep or something that would just go into the whole barn when they closed it up. I mean, I don't know. But I can say that I was inside of a building that to me is a barn simply because the bales of hay. Because I don't know of any other structure that would have bales of hay in it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but it was older because you know how the wooden slats begin to separate. When a barn is aging.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so it was like that.
And is there a proximity, a little bit that do you get a feeling of 5 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles? Because again, going
I'm
back,
going to say less than 10 miles. So I'm going to say between 4 and 7 miles from the abduction site.
and do you feel like that structure would still exist today? That one that that one that
I
you
have
had the
no
vision?
idea because it was
Yeah.
sort of on its way out.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I was inside of this structure, you know.
Okay.
So
Now,
I can say though that there was a cellar.
right.
The kind of cellar that you can lift the door
Yeah,
off
my
the
grandma had
ground and
one.
you
Yeah.
go down into a cellar.
Yeah.
Like a
There's
storm cellar.
Mhm.
I don't feel like the girls were taken to the cellar, by the way.
Right. It just that it had one in there.
Right. Because
Um,
my own grandparents many years ago had a farm and they had a cellar, so I recognized the same type of cellar.
Um, and I'll get back into this, but I just want to ask you a question for Lisa. Do you get any energies at all from the CPS building or the cemetery? Did you ever pick up on anything about the CPS building where they said that there was a vehicle? Or no?
No, I did not, and do know now. I did not investigate um, the. I mean, I didn't know about a CPS building
Yeah.
at all when I did the case because I don't like to. I mean, I like to kind of glance at okay, what's the, who is it? How long have they been missing? Uh, what town are
Right.
they missing from, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But no, I heard later on that there was a building on that property that I guess it's the CPS building that somebody parked their car there, or it was
Okay.
caught on film
Okay.
or something of this nature. But I do not feel that the murderers were parked way off at a CPS building
Same.
hanging around at a distance. I feel like they were closer. So
Mhm.
closer to me would be more of I'm going to park my vehicle not in a parking lot on the
Yeah.
property, but around houses nearby.
Did you ever pick up anything about that any of them knew Ron Logan, that were, because they on Ron Logan's land? Um, did you ever get a feeling at all towards that any of the people that were part of the murders knew Ron Logan?
Yes, I do feel like that one of them knew Logan very well. I say
Oh,
very
you, yeah,
well,
yeah.
would have known him uh, from a younger age. So, maybe played with Ron's children or grandchildren, would have been given permission to maybe hunt or play on his property. And so would recognize, right? Like Ron Logan would recognize the suspect right away. Because
Mhm.
why? He knew him when he was younger, right? Oh, like I know him. I see him from time to time. So knew one of the suspects.
Do you think they were trying to set Ron Logan up?
I do not feel like they were trying to set Ron Logan up by placing the bodies on his land. I feel like it was very convenient. I felt like the primary suspect and even the secondary suspect knew that area very well.
Hmm.
And so it was more out of convenience than anything else. I've got
Yeah.
an area here, you know, we can put them right here. No one's going to find them immediately, right? So, yes, but I don't feel like they were going to go, let's let the old man take the blame.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Now, so going back to what we were talking about the bodies, you had said, and we know from the again the warrant, or yeah, the warrant for Ron Logan, that the bodies where they were killed was not where they were placed.
right. Yes. So they did, um, you know,
So you felt like they were
do
taken away
all
from
the
the farm.
damage to the girls, or the majority of the damage. Let's put it that way. The majority of the injuries to the girls were done away from where they were found. I do feel like there was something additional done to the girls once they placed the bodies there. So, what do I mean by that? I feel like, if let's say Libby's unconscious or something, or Abby's unconscious, I'm going to do one last being, and it's going to be over with. You see what I'm saying? So I feel like the damage. I feel like they could have left them where they harmed them, and they would not have lasted. These girls been would not have survived the injuries that their bodies took on. There's no way. Even if they had an ambulance right there, they would not
Hmm.
have been able to save those girls.
It has been said, Angela, and it's just a rumor, that Abby survived until the next day. Do you believe that to be true?
No, I do not feel like she survived until the next day. I do not.
Same. I mean, it's something that was out there. Marv is just asking it. It's just because it's, again, it's another part of the speculation. Um, because one of the girls on their tombstones was the 13th, because in Indiana you can pick the 13th or the 14th, so the day that went missing or the day that they were found. So one parent chose the 13th and the other parent chose the 14th.
Well, the tombstones are both on the 13th. It's the obituaries that one was the 13th and one was the 14th.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
common misconception. But yeah, it was
okay.
the tombstones both said the 13th, but the obituaries were
Okay.
No, I gotta say, I do not feel psychically that
Yeah.
Abby, died the following day.
Yeah, I don't feel it myself personally, but I know it's definitely a question that people ask. Okay, so
And here's the thing: there may be a question about their time of death, right? So if they're heavily injured and then they take them to the spot that they're going to place the bodies
mhm,
and they finish them there, the thing is that they could have, I don't feel like they were dead February 13th in the afternoon and that their bodies were laying there all that time.
right.
So I do feel like there's a question of time of death, but I do not feel like Abby, survived. I feel like whatever was done to Abby, and I won't go through
Right.
that.
Do you feel it's
Hold
okay?
on. She wouldn't have survived.
Oh,
It would have been quick.
yeah.
She would have been, dead quickly.
Oh,
Mhm.
I know, I get it, because it's like I spend so much time looking at this case, Angela, and so
Mhm.
many other people too. And it's like sometimes when you get the visual or the vision, or,
Right.
like even when I'm looking at what is deemed as the crime scene, it's like you have to block it. But then, of course, sometimes when a picture's up in front of you, you keep remembering that this is real. Like,
Right. And the thing is that's why this is like reason number 55, right?
yeah,
Do the case as the observer so that you don't have to emotionally
right,
go
right.
feel it later.
Because and you have children, Angela?
I do. Mhm.
Right. So as a parent,
Sure.
right. I mean, because we know as we're talking that if this was to happen to us, how devastated we would be feeling.
Absolutely.
Um, and
Absolutely.
and that's what makes it so hard is two beautiful girls went to the bridge, probably to meet somebody that day. I don't think it was just like I said, it was a planned thing. And then these girls never ever made it back home. Um,
Well, it's
again,
bad enough to lose a child, right?
yeah,
Like, hey, there's been an accident. I'm sorry,
yeah,
your child did not pull through versus this vicious
yeah,
murder.
absolutely. Right, exactly. And that's the thing that always right, is that like when I'm looking at what is supposed the crime scene photos, I believe that they are regardless. But for people out there that don't, doesn't matter, like they can think what they want. But when you're staring at this knife that's in the picture, you cannot help, you cannot help but just feel how scared they were, how what was going on, like just the fear. Like even when they've talked about it on HLN, when they asked a couple of people, a couple of the officers and stuff, like what did you feel as you were listening to the like the audio videotape, because obviously they have more, right? And you could just tell that they could feel how the girls were scared,
Sure.
and just knowing that something was going to happen to them. um I would hate to have to right, it's bad enough looking at pictures and then actually be part of this crime scene and see it visually, and those nightmares, especially when you're a parent, and you have children, but just to even see two beautiful girls that have been staged to
Right.
look like something else. But brutally murdered.
And I did, once when I do cases, I will always do a written report.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I will send it to a law enforcement liaison.
Yeah.
And, to do a report, it really kind of covers everything, right? So,
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I remember you saying that on Noreen's there when you had done that show that you would it's like sent to the information that you send the information.
Right, and I did say that it was almost like the bodies were staged.
Yeah.
And I gave two examples of staged bodies in that report. Not their bodies, but I said it reminded me of there's two movies. One was True Detectives first season of the
Yeah.
first show. Very staged to make a point. And then the second one was The General's Daughter, if you remember that. There was a
Yes.
staged victim.
Yeah.
Again, to make a point,
Yeah.
So it was all very psychological and again, game playing.
Right. Because there's a very important part that you were talking about too, and would like you to talk about this again, because you were talking about one of the persons that was there, part of the, whether it was the murder or the, what's the other one? What's the word that you use for the other one? It doesn't matter. About the dealing with animals and taxidermy and
yes.
almost like pigs and horses, you said, and
right.
the job.
So the thing is that I kept on being drawn to taxidermy, where they kill animals and they stuff the animals and they mount them on the wall, for example, deer or whatever they kill. But I feel like this one has a history with taxidermy. So whether like that's what the family does or that's what the family did, but also where they, like if you call somebody that raises a cow or a pig, or you call a place and say, I'd like to buy meat, I'm going to buy half a cow or whatever. Yeah. So wherever they, I guess, kill the animal for the food, then there's got to be some sort of special tools. So to me, I don't know anything about taxidermy, but there's got to be some sort of special tools. And there has to be some sort of special tools for when somebody slaughters an animal, and does to them what they do to them, like taking the hide off or, whatever. Absolutely. So I feel like this person has a lot of experience and they have special tools.
Well, I was going to say, and do you feel like these special tools were used on the girls?
Yes.
Yeah.
So whether it's the taxidermy tools or whether it is, I'm going to kill the animal to process the animal tools.
Yeah. And I remember you saying that you felt like this person was a hunter and that they went from job to job, like they worked and then they didn't work.
I don't feel like, hey, somebody's been there for years and years and years, and holds a steady job.
Right. I'm just, again, everyone that's watching this, you guys can go watch that back yourself on Paranormalzone TV, and I'll drop the link for that again, because it's not like she's just it's not like Angela's just like saying this because she seen this and read this. This was something that she said back in 2021. Yes, she dived into the show, the case a bit, but like she said,
right. I mean, when I use remote viewing and criminal casework, that's my job, right? I'm tracking a missing person, or I'm working a cold case, or a current case. And so I use specific, specific approaches and things of that nature. But
Yeah.
I don't investigate. So I have no idea.
Exactly.
I have no idea what has occurred from
Yeah.
the time they found these girls until now.
Mhm.
I mean, I've heard some things, or something will pop up online
Mhm.
where somebody has
Of course.
been questioned or arrested, or a suspect or whatever, but that's all, So I have no idea who was who, and who's friends with who, and who knew who, and all
Right.
that.
I know, not like I
Yeah,
know
I
the
have no
information
idea.
that I have. Now, do you feel like this person worked at Indiana Packers in the hog plant? That's
Indiana what?
the Indiana Packers meat plant where they slaughter pigs.
Ugh.
Not something you really thought
That's
about?
huh?
Is it something that you thought about or talked about? I don't remember that. I just
Well, I
remember
didn't
that.
talk about Indiana Packers because I wasn't aware that there was a place called Indiana Packers.
Yeah, it's a hog
But that
plant.
would make sense.
Mm. It's just
If
down.
that's the only place in the area or the region that does that sort of thing, then yes, would have a history with that company, because I said there is documented history of this person working in that sort of job.
Yeah. Let me just take a look here, and I'll share the screen quickly. I feel like I'm Gray Hughes right now. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, hold on a second here. Let me just. It's always hard because if I had two computers, it would be great. But 1 second here. Okay, window. There we go. Whoops. No, there we go. Share. Okay. So let me just make this a little bit bigger again. Okay, so go to the north end of the bridge. Oops. Yeah.
I was
I
funny
never
you were
could
doing the
figure
globe
out
tease.
Google Earth.
What? What'd you say, Adam?
Oh, I said you were doing the globe tease.
Oh. Okay. So let's see here. I got my thing spinned around a bit. Okay. So just to give you an idea, obviously, this is my whole little layout. Okay. So just down over here is the transfer site that Ron Logan went to. And this is Indiana Packers right here. So that's right there from the Monan, right?
Wow. Wow. Then yes.
So it just was one of, whoops, I don't think I have my screen.
That is amazing. So like I said, this is somebody experienced with those kind of tools.
Yeah, like,
Well,
well,
I
I
had no
know,
idea that there was an Indiana Packers, but now I know.
yeah, just write down for it. And the reason for that is because they searched it about what, 2 weeks after? No, there was a bomb. There was a bomb that happened, a bomb threat about 2 weeks after. When Adam, do you remember when they searched, you guys? When did they search and bring
Someone
out
in
some
the chat will
boots?
have to give a date because I don't remember it was a few weeks after. I believe it was
Yeah.
at March at some point.
I think it wasn't too long after that they brought out some boots from Indiana Packers. Now, okay. Let's see here. I know that you don't know a lot about the Keegan Klein part of it. As Angela has said, she does a case and that's it. Like it's kind of like, and then it's over. She was asked to do Delphi. Now,
I did name 3 names in the report.
Yes. Well, just to ask you, you basically remember we talked about Keegan Klein, the bigger boy that sits with the child porn, and I just finished telling you about a search that went on in the Wabash, / the fact that his phone Googled in the Marathon gas station but unfortunately the FBI or whatever fudged it up, and so they don't have that beautiful piece of evidence, I'm sure, that would have really helped with this case. But regardless of that, do you have, okay, you don't feel like TK or KK, which is Tony Klein or Keegan Klein. Tony Klein's the father, Angela, and Keegan Klein's the son that sits in jail. Okay, now they live in Peru. Again, they searched that Wabash River just last week here. When I asked you this earlier, you didn't feel like either of them were the BG.
No.
Okay. And any
No.
particular what you thought, or any particular reason why? Just a gut feeling, just psychically?
Well, I know the three that I named.
Yeah.
In my reports.
Mm-hmm.
And it has nothing to do with the two people that you just talked about, the bigger guy and the fatherly figure.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying that they haven't committed their own crimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they did not kidnap and murder Libby and Abby.
Oh, but do you think that they were part of the lure? The Anthony Shots account is the one that came out in December 6th of 2021. And that's when the whole Keegan Klein thing exploded, because his phone was the last to contact. Well, no, sorry. One of the last people to contact Libby's phone. And it was Libby's phone.
It's not to say that this Keegan Klein didn't try to lure, Libby or Abby or both of them. I mean, who knows? I don't know, because I haven't investigated it. Yeah. But it's not to say that he didn't try to lure the girls to meet him or wanted the girls to meet him. It's just that he didn't get an opportunity to. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the girls were kidnapped and murdered. And if this Keegan kid wanted to do something slimy or to murder a child, he missed his opportunity. So I'm just saying to you, I don't care if the FBI themselves say Keegan Klein killed these girls. It would be like, no, he didn't.
I guess the whole kind of thing here is that even so, let's say that Keegan Klein had nothing to do with the actual murders. More so the fact that one of those people that you speak of used him, let's just say, for that Anthony Shots account to lure the girls there. That's basically like my way of thinking here, is that
well, account, I can say that I don't get anything on that particular scenario that you just described.
Correct.
So I won't make it up, just to have something to say.
Yeah. And
I can just tell you that Keegan Klein did not murder those girls.
Yeah. Or Tony Klein, you said as well?
And Tony Klein did not kill those girls.
Do you think like the killer lives in Delphi or around Delphi?
I feel like there's one that lives on the outskirts of Delphi. So, the old saying, he lives on the outskirts of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I feel like the other two are in the little surrounding area. So there was some place that started with Kokomo, something like that.
Kokomo, Lafayette, Peru.
Yes. So one? That's, those outer towns.
Yeah. Okay.
So would live in the outer towns of the Delphi area. But one does live on the outskirts of town in Delphi.
Right. Okay. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Now, the youngest one, I feel like the youngest one, which I recall writing in my report, I felt like knew Delphi well because there was grandparents in Delphi. So I feel like this kid would have spent summers at grandma or grandpa's house, right? And then would go back to school in one of the outer towns.
Right.
So Yeah.
I'm not sure if you said that. I can't remember that part. I'm not sure if you said that last time on Noreen's or if that's just what you're
I
saying.
don't know, but
I don't remember. There was a bunch of information there.
well,
Okay.
yeah, and there's more information in my files versus
Okay.
on Noreen's
Mm.
show.
So do you mind if we ask or look at some of the questions people are putting out there for
Sure,
you?
go ahead.
Is that okay? Adam, do you see anything that you want to pull out?
I was actually going to say, I'm going to use the restroom really back,
Okay.
really quick. Do you mind if I'll be
All
right
right.
back?
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Let's see the one on the side. Okay. These are dangerous people. Are they married? No. Are they married? Are they single? Are you getting a feeling like that these people are, any one of them is married, got kids?
I can say to you that the primary has been involved, marriage, probably has one, possibly two children, but those children are older. They're not little toddlers. The secondary suspect has been married or lived with a woman like married and there were young children. So young children that would be of school age. And in my report, I do remember saying that there would be incident reports, notice the plural,
Yeah.
with the secondary suspect that would have been called to their home for trying to choke the female and abuse the female. So whether or not they're still together, I mean, I know I wouldn't be, right?
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I can say that, yes, with two of those three, there are, they have been around children. In fact, I want to say the secondary suspect, because of the children. So again, whether that was his natural children
Right.
or the woman's children that were school age or grandchildren, I mean, whatever that was living in the household, there was some sort of people would recognize this guy because he would have shown up at the school that these children went to. So I feel like there was some sort of like like band or baseball or both, some sort of event that, parents tend to go to, or to
Right.
help, with if they're putting on a game or putting on a performance or something of that nature. So has been around children, but you have to remember now, this is not somebody that people would look at and go, wow, there's a killer,
Yeah.
right? They would look at this person and go, wow, that's Mr. So and so.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because they're familiar, they've seen his face. Again, the public persona is much different than what goes on behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Marv, True Crime, and Marv wants to know, did one of the suspects sit at the bench and watch them come into the trail? So there was a bench on the trail near the start. So that's basically the question is, did one of the suspects sit on the bench as the girls were coming, as they were walking down the trail to the Monon High Bridge?
I feel like the bridge guy did wait around and waited until the girls crossed over that bridge. So whether he sat on the bench or not, I can't say.
Yeah.
But I do feel I'm going to use the word lingered.
Lingered.
That's
what I would feel too.
On the other, on the other side of the, like where you get on, the area where you get on to the bridge to cross over.
Yeah.
I can say to you would have lingered there.
Right.
And waited for the girls to cross over that bridge. But again, whether he sat on a bench or not, I can't say.
Okay. Are any of the three people that you've talked about, which, Angela, just so you know, we'll not say the names, that's something that that she has sent in to the Ellie or FBI with the names, but no names that she will mention on here. Just in case I've seen somebody asking about that. Are any of those people that were part of it, that the three, are they any of them blood related?
No,
Okay, you never got that vibe? No. Okay.
no, I can tell you right now they're not related.
No. Okay.
They know each other, but they're not related.
Okay. So did BG walk across the bridge? So did BG walk across the bridge?
Well, I mean, there's videotape of him walking on the bridge.
Yeah,
So.
and I'm kind of confused by that too. Sorry, Marv. Let's see here. Does Angela know what type of work the older male did for a living?
So the primary suspect is between ages 35 and 45 years of age at the time that the girls were murdered. The secondary is between 45 and 55. So I can say to you that the primary would have also dealt with cars, and I get a sense about the cars that this would be somebody that would maybe go to car auctions and pick up cars and then resell them. I kept on seeing temp tags.
Yeah, I
And
remember
so
you
I
saying
feel
that.
like this person would maybe get a vehicle, have it fixed or doodled with it to fix it enough to sell. And I feel like this person would have been involved with also motorcycles, would personally have a motorcycle, anything with transportation. This particular guy did. The other one, like I said, I feel like he's pretty much he stands out as somebody that maybe has done security, would either have a military background or a passion for the military. In fact, I feel like there's some sort of tattoo on that 45 to 55-year-old's arm that is some sort of either military emblem or security emblem. You know what I'm saying? Survivalist, military kind
Right.
of symbol.
Right.
So, yes, the one that, to me, the primary has a lot of that knowledge of animals and stuff like that. But the primary and the secondary, to me, feel like they've both hunted before.
Right.
The third one, however, I don't feel like he's a hunter at all.
Okay.
Again, a gopher, 18 to say 25 years of age, again, at the time of the murders. But I don't feel like that one's like, okay, I'm going to go hunt something down and I'm going to kill it and I'm going to clean it and all of this kind of stuff. He doesn't come across as that.
And so just before Alexa there, so you're saying that the military one is are you saying the military one is the primary suspect or the secondary?
Secondary.
Secondary. Thank you. Okay. And this one you can answer quick, I guess, because we have already kind of gone over this.
Yeah, because the primary to me's got tattoos that would be like on the neck and on the arms and on the legs, especially the calves.
So a lot of tattoos. Okay. Yeah. Anything that sticks out to you there for the primary for tattoos? Anything, or no? Or
just the fact that he's got quite a bit of them, but I know that there's got to be some sort of like tattoo or tattoos plural on the neck.
Okay. And I just asked this for Charlie. Is this murder revenge motivated?
Yes.
And
it's all revenge motivated for the fatherly figure of Libby.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It was almost as though the fatherly figure of Libby did something that caused the primary and secondary, but especially the primary suspect, to lose money or get in trouble with the law or both. And I feel like I'm going to take you out for that. This is revenge. So not only am I not going to take you out now, I'm going to take your daughter, and your entire family is going to be devastated. Now, here's the thing. I would not put it past these people that killed Libby and Abby. If they can, I feel like that fatherly figure is still, you know, in danger.
In danger. Yeah. Yep.
So I feel like you know, that one of those three has been in jail. Again, I got to go back to the time of the murders.
Yeah.
That, you know, between last year when I did the interview with Noreen and the time of the murders, I feel had spent some jail time.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Do you feel like the barn belonged to one of the killers? And
I feel like
why
the boy, I call him the boy, the 18 to 25-year-old,
yeah,
is the one that is attached to the barn. So remember earlier I mentioned the 18 to 25-year-old male. I felt like would come to Delphi and spend the summer or some time
yeah,
with maybe like
right,
grandparents.
absolutely, yeah, right,
Okay, so I feel like that would have been the property that the barn or this building sat on, would
yeah,
be attached to the third guy.
right. What and
I
why
don't
do
feel
you,
like the third guy owned it, because I can tell you the 18 to 25-year-old doesn't own a thing.
right,
You know, like isn't a homeowner and
right,
doesn't own land unless they inherit it. Yeah,
right.
but not,
Now,
he's not capable of it.
I was gonna say, Angela, why would they kill them there, you think, and then move them over to the creek?
To get, number one, because there was an available place to go. And secondly, because, you know, if you're murdering people and doing things to them, harming them, that's going to be a lot of noise.
Mhm.
And, you know, people screaming and things of that nature are going to, that scream is going to carry. So we already know that Libby and Abby were not the only ones in that area that day, right? That there was others
Right,
milling around and enjoying the sunshine and the weather.
yeah.
So, so anyway,
Do you,
I feel
okay.
like it was a convenient place to get them out of the way, to do to them what they wanted to do to them, and then bring them back.
Do you, Angela, feel like one of the girls was pregnant? It's been a rumor. Okay, thank you. Just one I wanted to put out there because a lot of people have asked that. Adam, do you have anything? Oh, okay. I do want to ask this myself, and then, well, they would. Okay, so I guess probably going by what you said, this wouldn't make sense then. It says, Sonny, can we confirm crossing the creek? Do you feel when they said down the hill that they actually went across the creek?
Yes, I do. I feel like they went across some water. I feel like they went into a vehicle. I feel like they went to a structure. And then I feel like they brought them back.
Okay. So the reason I asked is there's the private drive down the hill, which can lead you out towards that piggy plant. Or if you cross the creek, it's.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, I didn't investigate the area.
Yeah.
I only see what I saw. You know,
So you saw them crossing the water?
I did see them crossing the water.
Crossing the water. Okay. Adam, did you have anything in particular you were wanting to ask?
Well, I was going to ask if you could elaborate on the which you just did, as far as like, 'cause law enforcement has said that the girls were killed in the area they were found. That they have said that they were staged and moved. And so I was just curious as to when you said you saw them being taken away and brought back, if that was somewhere in the immediate vicinity, or if it was somewhere, which you just said a vehicle was involved. So I think you kind of answered that question for me.
Right. And you might go, well, why would they spend all of that time, putting two girls in a vehicle? Well, vehicles are faster way to get to where you're going. And without struggle, right? Once you're in the car, you can't cause a scene or anything of that nature. So yeah, I feel like they were taken away, done some things too. Now they could have harmed them enough to where they're near death, right? And then I'm bringing them back, and I'm going to do one last little bongo to the girls. But I can tell you, the one thing I'm getting a lot of is I feel like, and I know that they used knives and stuff like that, but I feel like I want to say it's Libby. I feel like Libby, like her fingertips, something about the fingertips are missing. So anyway, but it was absolutely horrendous. But I don't feel like they were killed right there where they found them.
I was told by somebody that said that they were close to the family about the fingertips. To be honest,
is that public knowledge?
Well, it was an open casket. You would think that would be
no.
Would be.
So what do you mean, Adam?
Well, I mean, the girls had open casket funerals, and so I mean, I would assume that would be something that would be visible if it was an open casket.
Well, I doubt it.
I don't know.
I don't think that they would make that visible. If something happened to the hands,
depends on the casket, right?
Right. I mean, I'm speculating, of course, the same, but.
Yeah. No, the reason why I say that is because someone did tell me this a long time ago. I kind of, brushed it off because it's just, something that I heard. But so yeah, I was told something about, definitely, I'm not going to exactly say about it, but about the fingertips. But at the end of the day, in a casket, the reason why she has the scarf on, obviously. So someone put out a picture, but the reason that she would have a scarf on is because of the wounds to her neck, right? But someone, put a picture out of the casket. But again, that's the whole point, is when they're doing an open casket, they would have used something like gloves or something if they're going to do an open casket to cover it if something did happen to the fingertips.
I feel like that there was something done to some fingertips, and I feel like that was done not to go, hey, I know that past cases where they cut the fingertips off, they don't want the DNA to show up. But I also feel like a lot of that was defense wounds, right? So just kind of got in the way. So
okay.
Do you see anything I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask, do you see anything? I mean, well, first of all, I'm curious how your process works. Like when you look at a case like this, I mean, is it something that you can channel? And just because I'm really interested, is it something that you can kind of channel and go into that realm or that space?
Yes, I do that, because I'm a psychic clairvoyant, and clairvoyance, that's what gives you the ability to channel information or to see the information, so visions and so on and so forth. You can go past, present, future. That's the clairvoyant part. But what I do is a proven protocol, a method called remote viewing.
Right.
And the remote viewing was used by the CIA for over 20 years. And they had a psychic spy program called Stargate.
Mm.
So they use control, or also known as control remote viewing. So I will use remote viewing to, like if I'm trying to locate a missing person, for example.
Right.
And then on the criminal casework side, I use a matrix. Actually, I use two different matrices. And then I go ahead and I process through channeling or visions or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So so two different processes that have gone on.
Yeah.
And I find that it works. In fact, I'm teaching on September the 3rd another remote viewing and criminal casework workshop. It's 5 weeks. It's online.
Excellent. And that's on your website. People can find that info.
It's on the website, PyschicangelAThomas.com. And so this is, like I said, this is a proven method. The remote viewing part was used.
Okay.
And so I like to use the matrix, which is very similar, by the way, to a police format or a police report. It helps draw out the details.
I have a question about the crime scene. So if you, I don't know, I don't want to be graphic, but I mean, do you get, I mean, what kind of visions or, you know, what do you think I mean, when you say like the bodies were staged or whatever, like, do you feel like that was done for the killer's gratification? Do you think it was done to send a message? What kind of things do you see that would be odd or interesting or unique about the way?
Well, I think it's both for the killer's satisfaction. Again, we're talking about game players here, but I feel like it was to send a message. It's almost like I'm going to stage this body because ha ha ha, police officers. You know, I'm playing a game with you. Like recently, I did some sort of cold case stuff with like the Zodiac killer. You know, that would send in letters to the police department.
Yeah.
And all that is just taunting and taunting. So I feel like the staged part was twofold. That's what they wanted to do because it's a game now. These girls meant zero to the killers.
Oh, 1 second. My husband's knocking on the door. I'll be right back.
Right.
And then to stage the bodies to get the attention to send the message. So remember how I said early on in the interview that there were two movies I put in the report, General's Daughter and True Detective's first season. The staging of that is to send a message, and it's almost like, okay, now try to figure it out and come find me.
Okay. Is there anything specific that you think, you know, because I mean, do you see any like things that were left? Like, do you like, can you see any props or things that were left, or the unique things about the crime scene, or anything like religious in undertone?
No, I did not pick up on anything religious in the case that I recall. I'd have to look at my report that I sent in.
Okay.
But I do not remember ever picking up on any sort of religious anything. I can say that whoever did it was also a smoker. I say whoever, I know there's 3 of them. But anyway, I mean, there wasn't anything that I can say to you, okay, it's a religious artifact that was left behind. Or, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, Ives did say that.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, and I know this is widely known that, you know, like that Robert Ives had said that there was a lot of physical evidence left at the crime scene that anyone would want to take someone would want to take pictures of, is what they said. Angela, do you have 10 more minutes?
Yes.
That was going to be my next question. Was do you see there being pictures taken of the girls afterwards, or video or something?
I do feel like there were pictures taken after it was all said and done.
By the killers, I guess I should specify.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Now, I don't feel, and I really didn't get anything, so I can't say it didn't happen. But during the, I'll call it the assaults on the girls, I was asked, do you think that they videotaped that? Because one of these suspects is really into some sort of very weird, like violent porn. And that's why I was asked, did they videotape harming the girls? And I didn't get anything about videotaping, but yes, I do feel like there would have been, pictures taken of their handiwork, which is the staged dead bodies.
okay. Okay. Do you see a time frame at all when this case might be solved?
$1 million question.
Yeah.
You must be psychic, right?
Yeah. Right.
Let's see. We're in August of 2022. I can say any time between now and the next 18 months, I feel like it will be solved.
Sonny, I don't have 18.
So,
I'm sorry.
I'm
You
sorry.
don't
Go
have-
ahead. What was the question?
I don't have 18 months.
Well, anytime between now and then, right?
And
It could
I'm
be
playing
tomorrow,
almost.
it could be next week, next month, or it could be 18 months from now.
Yeah.
But
I
sometime within
know.
that time frame. And when I give predictions, by the way, I'm a research psychic for the study of precognition. So I try to stay within an 18-month time frame, because what's happening 10 years down the road isn't going to help anybody 10 years down the road. I may, if I'm reading for somebody, for example, and giving them predictions, I may have a shorter time frame, like between
Right.
now and the next 2 days, or now and the next 3 months, or whatever the case may be. But I try to stay in a smaller time frame. And if I'm getting that it will be solved within that 18 months time frame, then if it was further down the road, I wouldn't get any insight at all about it. So,
do you have any insight on what you believe it will take to solve the case, or what's missing?
I really have to say that I think what's going to really solve the case is when that younger suspect gets in some serious hot water and then he starts to talk.
Okay.
I can say to you, with the FBI and everybody else in a law enforcement agency that is investigating, I mean, this again is very convoluted, it's complex. You can imagine the enormity of the investigation. So every phone call, anything that somebody gives a tip, those people have to go out and investigate that. So if you've got 100 people giving off, oh, I thought I saw so-and-so and so-and-so together, they have to go and investigate that. There's only so many people on, that's investigating it, right? So there's only so much time in the day. But I do feel like the youngest suspect is going to be the one that kind of opens the door to where they can bring in the evidence. To me, I feel like that law enforcement pretty much knows or strongly suspects the suspects, but it's a matter of bringing the evidence to nail them on it.
That's what I feel.
So if they were to kind of release information now, it would give a heads up to the suspects, and everything would change, right? So
Angela, in front of you I have a picture, and I know it's a picture that's hard to understand a little bit. It is from the Bridge Guys video. And so what I'm trying to show you on here is that, yes, we've heard about a murder tape. I know that you said that when Noreen asked you that you didn't get that feeling. So if I go back into this just to show you, okay? So this is the BG, one of his eyes right there. Right here, my focus is on the camera. The whether it's a camera, I think it's more of a video, like a GoPro type thing. But right here, for instance, okay, and you can see the rest of it. But this right here is like one of those turn handles, Angela. That's as if you were moving a camera around and using, like, almost like guiding, with your hands there, because on this side is the same thing on this side. But so up here, you can, I know it's hard to understand unless you probably stared at it like I have, but anyways, this is on top, on the side, let me put it that way. This is on the side and in kind of in front of the BG's face, actually, as he's coming across that bridge. Now, I mean, I can try to show you it better in this light in a sense, but like this is like the handle part right here. And that's one of the best images really you're going to find, because it takes a lot of work to do all this, actually. But the point is that on the side of his, if you were looking at him, it would be on the right side if you were looking at the video. Again, knowing that this is his face here, this is his hat slash contraption, because you can always, like, it's, unless someone's actually looking for it, you can see that thing that pokes up behind the back of his head as well,
Wow.
which is this. But this is just to basically show you, like, this was at the crime scene as well, and I can tell you that right here, that I bet you any money that they were recording still.
Yeah,
That they
I can't make out what that is.
No, it's, you know what, it will, if it was anything, people think it's a teddy bear, but it's like a bunny rabbit. It's more like a bunny rabbit. But this is what I'm saying, right? These are some of the best images to even try to make hide nor hair out of, say, this is at the crime scene, right? Like a mask. So there, my POI that I talk about, right? Can you make out the fact that this is a mask here? Or is it, I know I'm rushing you in the sense it's hard
No, I can say I don't.
to see
I
it.
mean, it's not clear enough for me.
Right.
Your eyes are trained. My eyes are not trained on that.
I was gonna say, I'm gonna bring this down, actually. Because I was gonna say I spend all day, I've spent all day, nights, like 12 hours, doesn't matter, um, absorbing these pictures. So it's like I know what they mean. I know what's
Right,
there.
right. I mean,
Um,
you can read the shadows because you've been working with
It's
it.
not even the shadows. Right, right. It's trying to take a really bad video. No, I shouldn't say really bad, but pretty bad blurred video, and trying to make hide nor hair of it. But the bottom line is that it's been mentioned about a murder tape out there, whether it was something that they personally kept, as a souvenir, um, or sold to the
So,
dark
right.
web.
So, like I said, when they were inside that building I was talking to you about earlier,
Yes.
I can't say yes or no that they were videotaped, but I can say that, like he asked me, was there something done at the murder scene themselves? So they could have videotaped or taken photographs of their handiwork. And
Yeah.
I think it's awful. And
Absolutely.
to me, it's more about that whole porn thing. I mentioned like violent porn or
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
Torture
weird
porn.
Yeah.
torture porn. Thank you very much.
Mm.
Yes, yes.
Adam knows.
So it's like it falls like that. That's what the stimulation is all about.
Right. Power and control.
Right. So this person couldn't. These people could not have a normal relationship, especially the primary suspect. Cannot have a normal, intimate relationship with somebody
Wow.
because why? They need to hold them hostage, or they need to abuse them or
Right.
torture them, or be violent with them, because it stimulates them, and it's like, okay, now you know what I'm saying. So
Mm-hmm.
but a normal relationship they would not be able to really maintain, because it's not part of their their headspace. That's not what they're into. That can never be intimate, as in true intimacy.
Right. That makes sense.
I wanted to ask you one more thing myself, because I saw somebody else ask it as well, if you don't mind. I'm going to bring up Google Maps again. And whoops, I guess I should bring it back up. Hold on a second here. Okay. On Google Maps, okay. If you were to say where the killer's escape route was, or what route they used, would you be thinking over on this side?
Sunny,
The
do you want
Monan?
to show Sunny? Do you want to show her where? I mean, where on the map you're referring to at first?
Yeah, I can tell you none of this makes sense to me.
Right.
No problem.
Where
This
the
is
bodies, where the body, like if you look at where the
okay.
bodies
This
are
right here, yeah. So this right here is the Monan High Bridge, Angela. That's the bridge that the girls walked across here. So the picture that you see that again of Abby on the bridge is approximately, wasn't it about here, Adam? Is it this one about here,
the
or
end
was it
you mean
Libby?
the
Yeah,
picture of Abby?
yeah.
It's on the fourth. I think it's the fourth trestle. I can't. I'm trying to remember now. It's not that far. It's not that close to the end, but it's. I believe it's right where you have your right. Yeah, right where you did have it.
Right about there. Let's say
Yeah.
right about there. Well, it was about 60 or 70 feet from the end, I believe it was. The girls' bodies were found here on Ron Logan's land. Okay, so if we really wanted to talk, the CPS building is right here.
Was
Okay,
there?
the CPS
How they
building.
took the CPS building down too.
Yeah, it was there. So basically, remember when we were talking about the vehicle? I personally can't see somebody.
Yeah, I don't feel like somebody parked a vehicle. If you're going to kidnap and murder somebody, right?
Yeah,
You're not going to go, let me park way far away uh, from anything. So, no, this would have been a matter of convenience. So, no, again, on that whole CPS building
yeah.
and car parked there sort of thing, I do not feel like that would have been the suspect's vehicle.
Well, do you think that the exit though, like the girls' bodies were here, staged here, okay, staged and
Uh-huh.
posed here.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that the the way that they left the crime scene would have been straight up past the cemetery, to the east, to the west, to the south?
So the cemetery doesn't mean anything to me. All I know is that they were crossed over uh, some water, that they went. There was more like a residential, uh, you know, area. Maybe that, I don't know if that would be considered a driveway or a small road in front of a house or a number of little
This one?
houses. I can't make. All I see is a bunch of green and some yellow dots.
Can you see?
And
I
some things that now are starting to resemble trees.
yes.
Anyway, what I'm saying is, I feel like they were crossed over the water, onto land, placed in a vehicle, and driven down the road, not too far from that area that you're showing me right now.
Okay. And if you were to go by your gut, would you say east or west?
Okay, so am I looking at north? Is that picture showing me?
Yes, it's north is up here.
Okay, so north, south, east, west.
Yeah.
So then they would have been taken west.
Yeah, this way.
Yeah, like if
Yeah,
I'm looking at this
that's
picture,
west.
you would hang a right, baby, hang a right.
Now,
whatever road leads
yeah,
that way.
okay.
So I
Um,
feel like they went west. If this is the direction
right.
I'm seeing right now, north, like a standard north, south, east,
Yeah,
west,
it's exactly. I see. It's west.
they would
Like
have gone
nearest
west.
farm is west. Like it's just coming west from the murder scene or whatever. Okay, let me go back. Kind of bring that.
And
Go ahead.
again, I have to tell you, I know nothing about Delphi. I've never been to Delphi. Uh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't think
know.
I've ever really seen what Delphi, the town, looks like through photographs or anything, other than what I've seen, pictures of the guy on the bridge and
Yeah.
things of this nature.
What?
So I don't know the area. I don't know if there's a road that leads north or south or east or west
Yeah,
or whatever.
absolutely.
I don't know the area. I just
Absolutely.
know where my mind was set to when
Hmm.
the assaults happened and where my mind was sent to when they found the girls.
I was going to say thank you. I want. There's one thing I want to ask you about yourself that I don't think we touched on. Can you tell the people that are watching? So, when did you realize you had a gift or whatever you refer to it as? Like, so how did you come about into um like knowing that you had some power, like psychic powers or some, yeah, psychic powers, I guess you can say.
Well, I can say that, everybody is psychic.
You're right.
I've said this a million times. Some are scribblers and some are Picassos.
Yeah.
And the difference between the scribblers and the Picassos is practice. And so when I was young, I assumed, and I'm talking about, early childhood, I assumed that everybody, was just that way.
Yeah.
And as I got older, I found out that no, not everybody is like that. And so, I really could say that I recognize my abilities stronger in my teens and in my 20s, and definitely in my 30s. And,
Mhm.
there was a time where I had some, right? And I'm sure everybody can say, hey, when the phone rings, I can tell you that's probably so and so calling me, and they're going to tell me this, right? Everyone has experienced something psychic, but I received, it was a particular day, and it was like a window opened up, and I was getting bombarded with all kinds of sensations on both the psychic side and the clairvoyant side. So part of clairvoyance um, is something called clairaudience,
Right. Mhm.
which is the ability to hear. And when I experienced that, I thought I had lost my mind. I
Mhm.
thought, oh my gosh, I've stressed one too many times. I'm losing it because, how many crazy people have they picked up on the street going, I hear voices in my head.
Yeah.
So, so it was in my younger days, but it did progress as I got older.
Okay.
Well,
So
better to
when
be
did
psychic than schizophrenic.
yeah.
Right, right. Well, I'm a proven documented psychic,
I
so I know I'm not crazy. So,
um what is it? I'm not sure what that means, Marv. Can we actually see her reading on her site?
and I'm actually a former adjunct professor. I used to teach communications at a university, so
Mhm.
I've got an advanced degree, terminal degree.
Well, I was gonna say to you too, when I was younger, um, I like what you said there, right? Um, you just think everybody is
Right.
intuitive. You know, I honestly didn't realize up and into my probably 30s that I didn't really realize that people weren't that intuitive. I was just like, but what do you mean you can't see that this person's a snake? What do you mean? Like you can clearly
Yeah, but
see it.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Look at it this way. How many people, and I'm going to tell you, every single person born
Mhm.
is psychic. Again, the
Right.
degree depends on the practice and so on and so forth. But how many people on a cultural level would deny that? How many people that may have a certain belief system, they may fear that. They may
Right.
think that's of the devil instead of it being a blessing.
Correct.
So you don't know what sort of society is pressuring them
Yes.
or what their religious beliefs are, because there are psychics that don't want to be psychic. They just don't want it. They
You know
fear
what?
it. They are afraid to open their mouths and let anybody know because
Yeah.
they don't want somebody to ridicule them or make them leave the family or like, you're crazy, go, or you're the devil. We don't want anything more to do with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Burn you at the stake.
So, yeah. But I mean, and I got to say that I recently posted on Facebook where I feel that police officers and detectives are very psychic.
Yes.
So I called it the blue sense.
Hmm.
Uh, so they may call it hunches or my instincts. I followed my instincts, but they're
Yeah.
really going through psychic experiences. They're not going to call themselves a psychic,
Right.
but they have psychic abilities. And so I would absolutely love, in case there's any military or police officers,
Yeah.
search and rescue uh, type of people, I would absolutely love to teach them my remote viewing of criminal casework
Interesting.
Oh, I'm thinking of Steve
because it would
already.
only enhance their ability to solve a case. So,
Well, I was gonna say, I was gonna say, Angela, that I would say for myself, and it's someone just asked if you did private readings,
I do. Yes.
and the answer is yes to that.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
someone was in the chat earlier that I think has had a private reading with you. I don't remember. It was a long time ago, like in the chat, so I couldn't find it now. But I know that
Oh, I
someone
didn't see
did say
it.
they had a private reading with you.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah, it was like right when we started.
Hmm.
That's Angela's website that I just posted there, as well as I posted the video that you guys can watch where she actually talked about Delphi in 2021 on Paranormal Zone TV with Noreen again. So a lot of what she has said today is stuff that she had said back in 2021 uh, for this. And what I was going to say to you too is I think for myself, Angela, that I was always a little bit skittish of it because having any sort, I've always said I'm intuitive, not psychic, even though if I was to be honest, I would say I definitely border that because there's so many things, right? But that people don't know or what I do. But the thing
Right.
is that when I was younger growing up, it was like it was almost deemed as like evil. It's almost like witchcraft. It's almost like, like the Ouija board. So all those things were embedded in my head. And it's kind of like, so I just always have deemed myself as very intuitive. That because that's the best word. I'm deep empath, intuitive. Um, Although I've had other side talk to me. But I've veered away from taking it to any different level just because it was one of those things is like you want to, but it's almost to me like I'd be playing with um I'll just say this. It felt like growing up that I'd be dancing with the devil if I learned any of that stuff. That's how it felt to
Well,
me.
I mean, I think that somebody that enters that world, okay, maybe they're becoming more and more psychic or more clairvoyant as each month passes. Um, I mean, I feel like you can get in trouble with it if you are irresponsible. There are certain methods to protect yourself. Now, I can tell you, I don't conjure up spirits. I'm not using a Ouija board
Right.
because I know not to do that.
To do
right?
that. Right.
But when you look at how many people you can help and be in
Yes.
service to,
Yes.
that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Right.
Because I used to work for a Fortune 100 corporation
Yeah.
before I ever became an adjunct professor,
Hmm.
and did well. And I was kind of keeping it on the low down, that I was
Yeah.
psychic, until I switched just like that. I had and I'll give you the short version of it. If you ever remember AOL,
Yes, of course.
and it had a chat room, and at
Yeah.
the time you could only type in the chat room. You didn't
Yeah.
even have voice yet.
Yeah.
And so I did a reading for a woman in AOL chat, and type.
Yeah.
And so everything's coming along, and I say to her, between 2 hours and 2 days, there's someone by the name of Barbara that is going to be contacting you, and she needs your help. And she is typing, "Sorry, Angela, I don't know a Barbara."
Mm.
And my guides were saying, "Yes, she does." So I said, "Yes, you do." "Nope, don't know any Barbara at all." And so I just said, "Well, I'm just the messenger," right? Because I'm not going to argue with
Right.
somebody.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now I said between 2 hours and 2 days. At 2:30ish, following that reading, she gets a phone call, and guess who is calling her?
Barbara.
Barbara. She swore up and down she didn't know Barbara.
Yeah.
And Barbara ended up being an adult daughter of her neighbor that lived across the street. And
Yeah.
her neighbor was elderly and invalid. And the adult daughter, of course, took care of the mother. And the house was on fire.
Oh.
So Barbara was calling her to
Yeah.
please help me get my mother out of the house.
Right. Wow.
So,
Eh? Yeah.
so when I finished that, when I got the confirmation of that, I said, I need to get out of sales and follow this path. And that's what
Yeah.
I've done.
Yeah.
So when you can, so can you pick up on other, can you pick up really easily on other people's psychic abilities? Are there people that you come across that you instinctively feel like
Yes,
you
I
found
mean,
psychic power
it's
coming
not
from
all
that person?
going to be apparent, but sometimes, yes, you do recognize that. But do know this, when I leave my own environment,
Yeah.
I do ground my energy and protect my aura. And when I go out into the world, whether that's to the store or the gas
Yeah.
station, I do that, but I'm not walking around going, "Oh, I want to pick up on him," right?
Right.
Or I
Exactly.
want to check out and see what's going on with that woman.
Right.
It's not like that. I don't want to leave myself open for information. Sometimes I'll get some information very briefly, but I'm not going to focus on it. Why? Because I don't want to know.
Right.
I
So
just
there's
want to
not like
be
a wink
Angela
and a
going to the
nod.
grocery store.
There's not like a wink and a nod when you come across another person that you feel like has a lot of psychic ability.
No, but there's some people with psychic ability that is so strong that there is absolutely no denying it.
Yes.
So I have a friend of mine, and when she first started coming around me, before we became friends, she said, "Every time I get around you, I feel like I've had a lot of too much caffeine."
Mm.
So the energy was just right. So again, like probably reason number 75 why I don't go out in public too often anyway.
I
So
We all
I
need
was
Angela in the morning.
Right.
I was gonna say, I mean, I was just kind of saying this to one at work. I was just like, like I have a ton of energy in a sense, in a way, like meaning I'm not that person that just sits there. Hi, how are you? How can I help you today? Blah blah blah. I'm like a hi, how are you? And I draw people in with my. I don't try. I just draw people in with my warm, loving, caring aura, in a sense, and kind of like what you were saying, in a sense as well you know how you were talking about the Barbara thing, like I've told you privately as well, and everyone knows that watches me, um is about it. It was me being guided to the Delphi case. If I was
Yeah.
to look at hindsight, I didn't ask for it in a sense, but if I look back on it, it was like I was telling you. I know I've talked to you about who my POI is, but it was the fact of, again, no explanation for it besides intuition. Obviously, Gonzo came into my life for a reason. When I look back and that we had that conversation, and it's just, it, just like I don't have to prove anything to you, just like you don't have to prove anything to me. You know what you can do. And that's where, like I said, it doesn't matter what other people think, because you know who you are as a person and what you have to offer. And then going back to what you said, yes, will always be about helping other people, because there's no more beautiful thing in the world than being able to communicate or talk to the other side, or helping somebody out, regardless
Right.
if it's not even the other side. It's just a
Well,
matter about that.
right, right. And I have to say that, uh, like my private readings, I do charge. But
Yes.
for doing this criminal casework, I've never charged a penny.
Yeah.
And it takes, let me tell you, it takes time.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I want to teach others how to do it,
Yes.
so that you have more people doing it. But I
Oh,
don't take on
absolutely.
every case that I'm asked to do. There's
Yeah.
just no time in the day. Not if I'm going to keep it free of charge, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So,
Well,
uh,
exactly. Like, people can donate on here. We get some ad revenue and stuff like that. But right, helping this, making tribute videos, that I make them because I care about the families, and I care about the people that are watching, that follow these crimes or these stories, that
mhm.
maybe want to see a nice video of Abby and Libby. Just like, almost like, it's basically just to say, here you are, beautiful girls. Here's a video for you, a
Sure.
memory that, a memory that's there for a lifetime, in a sense. So now, myself, Angela, I've created my own website recently, so I can use that ability, which is just making videos for people. But this is a different thing. This will be for a charge, because these are about making wedding videos, Christmas videos,
Oh, I
birthday
see.
videos, all those beautiful things, those beautiful moments that you can package into a video, that are memories to last forever. So that's different. When I'm making the video here, I'm doing it because I want to, right? But again, it takes a lot of time. We're talking, sometimes it can go from 6 hours, sometimes it can go to 2 weeks
Well,
to
I
make it.
understand that.
Absolutely. But Angela, unless there's anything, because I don't want to keep you any longer. You've already been here half an hour past the time, or even longer, I think.
Oh,
Oh,
Um,
goodness.
I
We've
know.
been going at it for a little over two
Yeah.
hours now.
Okay, so now, just again, um, Angela, people can reach you at your website at www.psychicangela thomas.com. You do readings. You also, I guess we'll call it tutoring, to do a
Yeah,
mentorship.
I do private mentorship, and I also teach uh, online classes. I have a
Yeah,
3 6-week master class courses,
yeah,
and I teach those, and you can take
mm,
first, second, and third levels. Or I have the
absolutely.
psychic forensic workshops, which
Which
are
is
the
for
remote
remote
viewing
viewing.
and
Yeah,
criminal casework. And then I have a photo psychometry workshop as well. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And so I want to say that I appreciate you. I appreciate the
Yeah.
fact that you came on here because I
Thank
just feel blessed. Like I said, if anyone doesn't know, there again, Angela Thomas did an interview with Noreen on Paranormal Zone TV, and the whole kind of revenge, basically everything that you're listening to what Angela has said on that channel, on that video that she did, is pretty much verbatim what I've been saying the whole time. But just a little bit different on what she's calling, say, the BG or the primary and that. But the gist of almost everything is the
Right.
same. And I just felt really compelled because, again, I know who I am. And when I feel like I see someone that is being honest and truthful and sincere in what they're doing, you know what I mean? I just feel it. And so I was very happy when you did agree. I don't really usually like to push people at things or anything, but I was like super excited after I had realized that we were really saying the same things, but we didn't know each other, had no clue about it.
No,
Um,
I didn't know about you until you contacted me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know what? And I want to say thank you because Angela, I want to say this because there a lot of people don't even bother to answer you back at all. And I've been very disheartened by people in a lot of ways when it comes to that because I always think true crime or it means caring and being kind to one another, you know. But I realize very fast, and no, it does not. There's a lot of people that think that they care, say that they care, but there's a lot of people that you it's kind of, you know, like emailing nowadays seems to be a hard thing for people to do back.
I
So
know, huh?
I know, like simple expectations that we grew up doing, saying pleases and thank yous and keeping to your word and stuff like that as best as you can, right? But when, you know, obviously when life gets really hectic, it's sometimes hard to keep up. I got 6 emails actually now. Between that and Delphi and working and all that stuff, right? So it's been a bit of a challenge to try to, and then some stuff goes to your spam box that you don't even know, you know,
Right, right.
on there. But regardless, so I want to say very much thank you for responding back to me because it meant a lot because very few people actually do.
Well, you're
When I
most welcome.
Yeah,
And as a professor of communications, I always promote uh, courtesy, right? So
yeah,
whether it's a
absolutely.
quick text message or a thumbs up on the text or
Right.
an
Yeah,
email like, hey, I don't have time, or thanks for asking, but sorry, I can't do that. But something,
yeah,
some response,
I
any
know.
response.
I try to weed it out through all the junk mail that comes in too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so is there anything else that you would like to say before we get for you to get going here before we get going here? Um again,
May I ask one question really quickly?
Sure.
Is it a few people in chat asked this is off topic, but do you see a tall gentleman in Adam's near future? Just wondering.
we'll have to we'll have to talk
we'll have to
later.
have a private reading, I think. No, but you know
I'm
what,
just playing.
Angela, but so me and Adam are both cancers, okay? My husband's a cancer as well. What sign are you, Angela?
Libra.
You're a Libra scale. Okay, perfect. No wonder, because Libras and Cancers and that we all kind of zone into each other, certain signs there. But so me and Adam both wore royal blue yesterday on the
Well, look at
live,
us
Oh
today.
wow.
and then today we're both wearing red, and we're you
Oh
know
wow, that's amazing.
we
You're
are
right. I see that.
yeah,
What's important, and I'm not an astrologer,
right.
uh,
Me neither.
and have never claimed to
Yeah,
know astrology very well.
me neither.
But if you can find out what your moon sign and your ascendant sign, so your sun sign as
Yeah,
Cancer,
yeah,
but if you can find your moon sign and your ascendant sign or your rising sign, right?
yeah.
Right.
I think it's like
Uh,
Pisces,
then
isn't
you
it?
can get a more well-rounded information. So if you
Yeah,
go on any site
It's
and
easy to do
read,
your
let's
charts.
say, a horoscope for
yeah,
that day,
yeah,
uh, it's not going to be as well rounded until you begin to read into, let's say,
Right.
whatever your moon sign or your rising sign.
Yeah.
Even opposite sun signs, like it'll say, oh, these two sun signs are not compatible. They may very well be compatible if their moon sign or their rising sign are the same. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I'm not into astrology either, but I do know my Cancer sign. I have a twin who's a Cancer. My husband's a Cancer. Adam's a Cancer. Oh, Deb, guess what? You're not a Cancer. Oh, Deb's not here. She can't argue that. Yeah. But anyway, Angela, again, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Joining us tonight. I know it's 2 hours difference there.
Yes.
So you need to get off, I'm sure, here.
Where are you located, Angela?
I'm right outside of New Orleans, Louisiana at the moment. I go between here and St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, I used to live in St. Louis, yeah.
Oh, good. Well, then you know.
I lived in the Central West End for a long time.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, nice little area.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah,
great.
We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. And everyone, thanks for listening tonight. Yeah. And I hope to hear from you later. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks. Take care. Thank you so much, Angela.
Bye-bye.
All right. Adam, we'll stay on for a couple more minutes. I was going to, what did I want to do here? Yeah, I was so happy. Oh, there. Oh, I put it into the thing. I didn't realize I did. Had a little outro, just a small one or whatever. But I know that there was a lot of questions in chat, but she actually stayed about a good 45 minutes past the time that I asked her to. Because time just goes.
Yeah, there were a lot of questions. I'm sure everyone had a lot of questions that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
But she's available if you have any, I'm sure you can book her.
Yeah. It was one of those things. Again, go watch drop the link again. I'll drop that link. If you guys could please, though, give us a thumbs up for tonight's show. Well, any show really, but for tonight's show, that would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, I've been waiting for Angela to come on for about a month and a half, because when I had asked her originally, and then she said she had time, I think in August, and so it was August or September. Towards the end.
I would also like to thank everyone in the chat. I think everyone in the chat was incredibly respectful. I didn't see any, because I understand some people have opinions about things like this, and so I'm very. It was really nice to see that I didn't see anyone come in and be an asshole. So
there was only one towards the end there, but I got rid of him.
I think everyone was incredibly respectful and interesting. Yeah. So I think thank you so much, everyone.
And again, well, like Adam said, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. And do check out the Paranormal Zone TV with Angela Thomas on there, because then you'll get more answers to what she was talking about. Right. And again, for me, it was an honor to have her on, just because, again, I am very intuitive, and I felt like Angela was telling a story that I had been telling already. So when I came across it, and I think it's JD said that he was the one, or she, JD, you a guy or a girl? Can't remember now. Shoot. Well, I always want to say guy. Just answer me on that one, JD.
Thank you, Alexa.
And sent me the video, because I just remember it was sent to me. Yeah. Well, what is it? Is it a guy or a girl? A guy, right? Oh, yeah. JD Bombara. Oh, pretty sure. I don't know why. I just always assumed it's a guy's name. So you're a guy, right?
Thank you, Denise.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Jackie girl. Okay, it's a female. I don't know why, but whenever I see JD, I just think of
men.
Like men, yeah. Well, I guess I wasn't very psychic there. When I was I?
Where's that intuition now, Sonny?
I have no idea. Obviously.
You must
yeah. Oh my goodness, is it ever hot in here? I got 4 more days left to work, and then that's the end of life at that place. I work as a psychic medium. This stuff is real. You know what? Exactly, jumping for anyone that really, probably there's a lot of people that dismiss the fact that they actually can do, like, actually are very intuitive and stuff like that. I just didn't think about anything like that when I was a kid. I just thought that everyone thought that way. I just thought that everyone just could read people. Like, meaning, I can't say enough times how if Adam say was telling me something and I would be like, well, you know what? This is exactly what's going to happen, Adam. And then I'd sit there and go, see, called it. Then Adam would come back and be like, shit, you're right. And I'd be like, yep, called it. But I just would always, hey, what?
Never happened. Never happened.
Right. But yeah, it was just always one of those things that I just was always patting myself on the back because I was always typically right. Right. And so, but as you only get older, you're just like, you realize that there's not a lot of people out there that really, yeah. Do you consider yourself psychic a little bit, Adam, or intuitive? Well, what would you classify yourself as, if anything, without with being honest and real with your?
I think I'm intuitive. I think I'm pretty. Yeah, I'd say I'm intuitive.
Yeah, that's like the word I like to use too. You know, yes, I've had experiences with the other side, but the word I just like to use is intuitive. I think it for me, it just feeds like a deep empath and empathic and intuitive, and I feel people's feelings, and that's why when Angela started tearing up there, I was picturing that moment because she's having a visual of what she's talking about, you know. Um, and then it makes, of course, me sad to see her in tears, even though I wasn't at the moment, because again, it's like sometimes when I'm watching, it's not predictable. You just start talking about it and you're visualizing this picture in your head, and then it's just hard to picture that these two beautiful girls were murdered.
I'm also
Racing.
pretty center. I know I'm also pretty center brain. So I mean, I think it's for me. It's a lot of times I always have to prove, like I feel intuitive, but I also then have to prove the logical side of it to myself. You know.
Well, I was going to say that's how I feel about Delphi, actually. I feel like my intuition is what led me to KD. At the end of the day, Gonzo and I had a conversation that was meant to obviously happen, but he led me by telling me about Garrett Kurtz. But my own intuition picked up on KD, right? So now,
what's your Myers-Briggs?
say that again.
What is your Myers-Briggs? What are your what initials are you?
Oh, I'm the campaigner. E. What is it? Oh, I can, EN.
I'm an ENTJ.
Yeah, I'm an ENT. I'm not the judging. So wait, ENF. I'm a feeling.
Yeah.
I'm a extrovert, intuitive, feeling. And what's the last two options? J is judging or
sensing.
Oh, sensing. So I'm an ENFS. ENFS? Yeah. Whatever. I'm a campaigner. I get it twisted in my head. I used to know exactly when you asked me that. So I'm definitely a campaigner. If anyone ever read the 16 personalities around the world, I am that campaigner. That's who I am through and through. And so, yeah, so I was just going to go back and just say, like, again, so my intuition led me to KD, but the logical, practical side has to do the work to make sure that what I'm doing, right, is correct. That's why I dig my heels in when it comes to talking about the POI or KD, because once you've done the work and know that your work is good, it's like no one can take that away from me at all. Doesn't matter who, because I did my work. I proved to myself what I was looking at, because that's the point. You don't just sit there and go, oh yeah, I think it's KD. I'm just gonna, call him out and blah 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 blah. No, I had to do the work before I could feel safe enough to say it, because you have to, back up. Again, it goes to old school stuff too, as well, but it should be always. It goes back to your own pride and your own morals of what you do. And no one can take that stuff away from me, right? So that's how I think of it, kind of the same way, Adam, is that, yeah, but then there's a logical side that says, well, yeah, my intuition took me here, but now I have to show my work because that's just what you do. Doesn't seem too far-fetched to me, really, but a lot of people, like I said, obviously don't think like that, and they're like, oh, whatever. So each to their own, right? You need to check on your child. She was choking. Wait, what?
I was in quotations. I don't know if it was a.
I know. I'm trying to see what it's referring to. Rainy days. I'm very empathic. Just time has taught me who to waste my time on and who not to. So when people come in here and want to say mean things or whatever, those ones I don't have to deal with. I don't have to deal with them because I can easily just block them and they can go find somebody else's channel, and the trolls are going to troll and we can just make fun of it or block them and do whatever as well.
Bitches be bitches.
Yeah. So it's one of those things like, yeah, I have my mom's feisty side, but that came through a lot of different things as well. Do you think, let me put it this way. So what she was calling the primary suspect. So I guess it would really just depend, Callie, on what she's referring to, like meaning the primary suspect to me is the BG, the person on the bridge. That's the person that to me is the peon. That was the person that is the one that's between.
You said that was the 35 to 45-year-old, though.
No. Well, she did, you're saying.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
That was older, right? So the one that she said was younger, which was, I think, 18 to 25 is what she said. So KD is the primary. And then if anything, if we believe in Nick Edwards' text to me through Messenger, then we believe that probably who she could be referring to perhaps might be a Palladino. But again, what she was all saying, like about everything, almost all of everything. Right. She said the suspect number 3 is young. Correct. So it's just one of those things. Yeah. Go watch the full version of it, because again, for the most part, what she is saying is what I've been saying all along, but mine was through information, like I know that she had, researched the case a bit, but it's not like, of course somebody has to understand something about the case, but unlike us where, some people have spent 5 years and I spent 2 years digging and diving. That's what she means, right? She hasn't been digging and diving. She did it for Noreen. And then after she was done it, she even said to me in private, right? Like, yeah, once I do a case, it's basically, like that's it. It's like, so she wasn't there when the whole Keegan Klein stuff came out. So it was, as much as I wish she was, I didn't really want to I don't like to put upon people certain things, and I didn't want to put it upon her to go, hey, can you go do what you do, meditate and, remote view and see what's happening on this side. Maybe had there been I don't know, more time, but I know she's a busy person as well. And I just enjoyed the fact that she was going to be on discussing what she did talk about. Again, like what, so Adam, okay, now that Angela's off tonight, like what did you feel or think, if anything, was do you feel like you got your questions answered? Do you feel
I was, honestly, I was mainly more interested in listening to what she had to say. I didn't talk a lot, mainly because I wanted just to kind of hear what she was saying and what her, like I'm interested in always the story behind people too. And
yeah,
I mean, and it's also difficult because when you're discussing something like this, I didn't want to drive a narrative in the conversation in the way I was asking questions, if that
I
makes
do.
sense. Because because I wanted,
No, exactly.
it's hard to ask a question, and then, because I wanted an honest, unbiased opinion in her answer, and I didn't want to put anything out there as far as the impression of the way I was asking the question.
Yeah.
So I was really mainly interested in listening and hearing what she had to say.
Yeah.
And of course we'll always be respectful to anyone that's on our show. And, there are things she said that I thought were really interesting. There are things that, I don't agree with, but
Right.
that is not to be
Well,
disrespectful of
absolutely.
her.
Because it's
But
not
no,
like
I found she to be incredibly personable, interesting, intelligent. I've got a really good intuition from her. But so I was really just interested to sit here for 2 hours with them.
well, I was gonna say her version was pretty much like my version, so it wasn't really hard to drive a narrative because it was already pretty much, you know what I mean? Like when she was talking, like I said, you would have to go back and listen to the show on Paranormal Zone TV, and then you'll hear, like I said, when she's talking about, the person that's a hunter at the pig plant, or that works with around pigs and cows and stuff like that, and like just so many things, right? That I already know. So it was kind of like, I shouldn't say I know, but yeah, with my work, it's a very,
She wasn't.
What'd you
Sorry.
say?
No,
No, what'd
go
you
ahead.
say?
You go ahead.
No, I was just going to simply say that, like, for me, it was very jaw dropping listening to somebody who doesn't really know it. I put in all this work to dig for Delphi, and then to hear someone just kind of say what all this stuff, like, meaning whether it was from the meth and the drugs to the, I think she even talked about about getting lured into how it was meant for, say, you know, um, the dad, not necessarily Libby. I believe that as well, actually. Like if I was to go with my theory, I believe that the initial intent would have been for him, but then it became more about that, about the like I said, you take out a child, you ruin that whole family, so just all that stuff is all those thoughts that it was thinking in as in myself. So I just found it very,
Interesting.
awesome to have her on because
Yeah.
of the fact of,
I thought that was great that you signed that you. I think that I was really impressed with her.
yeah.
She wasn't going to give me that last answer though about if I was going to meet a tall person. She was
No.
not going to give me that.
Well, I was gonna say because
Like,
most people,
no.
because I was gonna say most people, and this, most people have to prepare, in a sense, or meditate and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But no, I
I
know, of
but
course.
people in the chat did.
Hey, I mean, we could tell you, right? I think he has the initials ASAB, right? I think that's who
Ronnie.
your tall, dark, and handsome is. I
Sorry.
should almost play your video. That was funny.
Don't you dare.
That was so funny. That was so funny. You did pretty good, y'all. All I could think about was like Forrest Gump and an accent. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was not a very good Forrest Gump, but
well, no, but that's, you could hear it in there. It was like, yeah, a Forrest Gump with a whatever. Anyways, that was pretty funny. I think that's about it, really. I don't know, like it's 9 o'clock. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes. I know I'm hot and tired. It's very muggy here. And then what's our next live is?
Are we live tomorrow night?
No. What's tomorrow? Oh, yes, we are, aren't we? Oh, I'm willing to skip it. To be honest with you, I forgot about that Friday. I don't know. I guess we could do something. Do you want to do something or no?
Yeah,
Just talk.
I'm because I know I'm not around Saturday. So
Yeah, well, Saturday, no, regardless. Sunday, yes. Is to talk to Paige? We're doing Sunday with Paige.
yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So you want to do something tomorrow, or?
Sure.
Sure.
Oh, and I did get that. Yeah, we will.
Yeah. Okay. I feel we're just all talking about this as a one big
No,
happy
we'll talk.
family here.
Yeah, we will see you all tomorrow, even if it's not for 3 hours or 4 hours.
Yeah, because I mean, there's definitely some Keegan Klein stuff to talk about.
Right.
Whatever.
I've got a video to edit. So.
Do you?
Yes, I got the full length video that we were.
Oh, you got the full length video.
Yes, I got it, but I've not had time to edit it yet. So I'm gonna edit it out. I'm gonna edit it tomorrow, and then I'll have it.
Do you want to send it to me? Because I can edit it.
Sure.
If you don't got time, I can edit it.
We can talk about it later. We'll talk about it soon.
Okay.
But
all right.
Thank you everyone for being here tonight.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe if you're not already.
Yeah.
Do all those YouTube-y things. I don't know. Where's Deb? We need her to tell everyone what to do.
No, we don't. No. We're good. We're good. So yeah. Thanks everyone. Have a great night. Right, Adam, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Fair enough?
Right.
And thanks again to Angela Thomas. And again, her website, www.psychicangelathomas.com. And you can find her on Facebook as well.
Is it also in the description?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, you can always go to the description.
In the description. We'll do that in the description. Alrighty. Okie dokie. Take care, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.